Okay, here we go to the second part of the traditional theories of leadership, and we're going to really focus here on contingency theories. Okay, and so the idea behind a contingency theory is that there is no necessarily one best style of leadership. It's really situationally dependent. Sometimes one is better, and sometimes another is better. Okay, and Fiedler's contingency theory. It's a function of the best leadership style is in many ways a function of the employees you're working with, whereas path goal theory says that the most effective style of leadership depends upon the situations in the environment around you. Okay, so successive leadership approaches depends upon, in many ways, the maturity of the subordinate. Okay, so in this particular contingency theory, the idea is that an employee can be motivated or unmotivated. An employee can either have low ability or high ability. And depending on these characteristics of the employee, would really tell you what's the best style of leadership for them. Okay? Because clearly a motivated employee that is high in ability, or how about this? A motivated employee that is low in ability simply needs guidance, right? Needs to be pointed in the right direction. Employees that are unmotivated, guess what they need to be? Motivated, kicked in the ass, okay? A motivated employee that is high in ability, maybe much more of a hands-off, supportive approach, right? So encouraging and supportive, but not directing. So just really depends upon the workers themselves. So Fiedler put together this idea, and he argued that in the environment around the organization, there's going to be three different dimensions of what he called situational favorability. And so situational favorability is based on the relationships between, the management and employees, how structured a task is, how much clarity there is, and then how much power the manager possesses, right? And so we can see here that there are 8 different situations that emerge from these 4 situational variability factors. And so it creates 8 different situations. And each of these 8 situations, a different style of leadership would be more appropriate. Okay? The path goal theory of leadership says that there's basically 4 kinds of behaviors that a leader can show: directive behaviors, achievement-oriented behaviors, supportive behaviors, and participative behaviors. And the correct use, or the best behaviors to exhibit, depends upon the situation. And so here we see the idea at the top. The leader assesses the situation. Are you in a situation where followers lack self-confidence? Then you should be a supportive leader. Are you in a situation where the job is ambiguous? You should be a directive leader. Is it unchallenging? You should be an achievement-motivated leader. And so you're going to look at the situation on the top and determine the best style of leadership, or more to the point, the best behaviors to exhibit, okay? And therefore the outcomes or consequences, ultimately job satisfaction increases, job performance increases, and etc. Okay? However, this path goal theory of leadership argue, again, this is a contingency theory, right? Because the best style or best behaviors for a leader to exhibit is dependent upon situational factors. And so not only is it the environment, not is it just these 4 kinds of outcomes, scenarios, but the workers, again, are part of the story. What is the need for achievement or the motivation of our employees? What is the self-esteem or perhaps emotional maturity? Okay? How much power do you have? And so this path goal theory of leadership does argue that, here, this is true, right, that this is the scenario, you assess the situation, you change the outcomes, you get job satisfaction, but again, it's always moderated by the types of employees you have and how much power you might possess, okay? So participative leadership as a more specific behavior within the realm of all the behaviors a leader could exhibit. Participative leadership has lots of consequences. And as I told you in the very first video for this module, an authoritative leader does not encourage participative behaviors. Does not, okay? And you heard my complaining that the problem with that is that many cases leaders don't really know what's going on. They're missing information. Okay, so oftentimes subordinates possess relevant information that the leader does not possess. Autocratic decisions are not appropriate because they're being made without all available information. Okay, and I would argue that there is always situations where the subordinates possess relevant information that the manager does not have. Always. Or leader, right? We're talking leadership, not managers. So, when decisions do not share, blah, 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 blah. Okay? So, you can read the words yourself, right? You know how to read, I hope. It's an upper level class. You darn well better be able to read. Okay? But the key is, in so many situations, the manager does not have all the relevant information, and therefore, if you do not allow participation by people with relevant information, decision-making will be poor. Okay? All right, so there we go.